Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. How we doing today? Hopefully we are doing well. Hopefully we are doing well. Before I get into today's show, it's been a lot of windmilling in the comment section. In the comment section of my last live stream, where we discussed Nick Cannon primarily and all of his shenanigans. And I was specifically discussing the male hyena. Okay. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel over the years. And we primarily discuss the female hyena behavior as cautionary and as a lesson so that we can see what our problems have been as a community overall and what the problem has been with the collective of Black women, the overtaking of feminist ideals that have morphed and mutated into these extremely damaging, extremely harmful mindsets that have been generationally passed, and they have resulted in curses. They have resulted in the destruction of our communities. And I primarily have been talking about the women because I am a woman. And so it is easy for me to delve into the psychology of a woman and to even understand what a hyena is doing and why she's doing what she's doing. And I've almost ad nauseum have gone over and over and over about what the females do, particularly when we talk about women that have multiple children by multiple men. I don't ever really give them women excuses. I don't ever really do that. And the reason that I don't do that is because many times these women are middle-aged to older, and whatever trauma or problem that they had encountered when they were younger, they have had a lot of time to address it. They just have not addressed it properly. They've addressed it dysfunctionally. And one of the ways in which a lot of times these women address their dysfunction is through the further dysfunction of birthing children in some of the worst conditions, let alone not birthing them in ideal conditions, but birthing them under some of the worst conditions that they could. And so that in and of itself is a dysfunction. It is also indicative of further dysfunction that was had before those decisions were even made. Is in point of fact, women like that are making those decisions born out of previous dysfunction that didn't have nothing to do with them being single moms and baby moms. But I rarely go into all of the various factors that might have actually gone into a woman having 7 children and 5 baby daddies and her making the same decision over and over and over, realizing that this is not a good decision. that she's making, and then she'll cry about the circumstances that she's under. I rarely actually go into that. In other words, I don't windmill for these grown women. They're grown, ultimately. And it's called life. A lot of people have had a hard time. A lot of people have gone through trauma. A lot of people had to be saddled with generational curses, especially in the Black community. Equally, whenever I start talking about these male hyenas, which I'm actually gonna do more of, I'm not gonna be windmilling for them. I'm not gonna be windmilling for them. I'm not gonna talk about the factors that may have gone into how he might have got hurt when he was 21. So now he's 45 and he's still doing the same foolishness. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not doing it. Because on my channel, I need to get something real clear to those who may not be quite clear. My channel is not just about, hey, look at the foolishness and we're going to be overly critical of females. Look how all of these women are acting a fool, and just leave it at that. I pointed out for a reason. This is why I also undergird that conversation with a conversation about values, both good and bad. I have the conversations about where we are as a group of people and seeing things play out in real time so that we can actually understand. I want people to make the connection. I don't want people to just be like, oh, well, we're just gonna watch a clip of a chick act the fool and we're gonna high five and see how crazy these chicks are, and you know what I'm saying, and then not have the further conversation about exactly how we can get into it or get out of it. Because for me, this is not simply an opportunity to sit in front of a camera on YouTube and make $1 based on highlighting the dysfunction of our community without talking about where that dysfunction comes from and how we can address the dysfunction on an individual level that will eventually affect the group. And I'm saying that to say truth encompasses everything. If we're going to talk about accountability and responsibility, we're not only going to talk about that from the female side. Some of y'all comments wanted me to talk about them women so bad. Whoever the women that was lined up to be baby mamas to Nick Cannon and to Cam Newton. Y'all wanted me to switch the conversation so bad to them chicks. Well, what about the women that want to line up? What about them? Because I have thousands of videos covering that thinking. And we're actually going to talk about one right now. But just because I'm going to talk about that doesn't alleviate talking about the male contribution to that. Because see, what we're not going to do on my channel, maybe another channel will do it. Maybe another channel will do it. And if so, God bless that channel. But what we're not going to do on the Crimson Cure channel is make out like every female is this horrible monster and every male is just this angel and he doesn't know, you know what I'm saying? Every time something happens, he's just, you know what I'm saying? He's caught off guard. He's blindsided. He's, you know what I'm saying? It's just innocent and he ain't doing. No. Because I said years ago, I told y'all that the gynocracy is not upheld by the females. It's actually upheld by the hyena males that are within the gynocracy. It's held up by that. That's who holds it up. The women can't uphold that. Okay? The most dangerous part of the gynocracy are the males that uphold it. He don't get no benefit out of it, yet he's just as brainwashed as the females are about the whole situation. So therefore, he's the bedrock upon which they stand. And I'm not going to not say it. What it did was let me know it's a whole lot of male hyenas, because if you are windmilling for a hyena, you a hyena. There, I said it. Boom. There, I said it. If you windmilling for the boneyard, then you part of the boneyard. You don't want to see it fall. Huh? You like the foolishness right where it's at, so you can have your little piece of the foolishness too. You don't want it to get completely right, because if it all get completely right, you won't be able to act a fool. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Ezekiel. You always come through with the support. This is a vital form of support, and I appreciate you so much by gifting the memberships to all of the people that he did gift a membership to.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
And I want to thank so much Theo for your extremely generous contribution. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Then they wanted to deflect to the female that was actually doing with the interview. Now, apparently she's got some issues of her own, which is why I didn't crown her a lioness. Just because you can come and say a few things that may be true, I can take the meat and throw away the bones. I don't have a problem with that. Because people was like, oh, well, she's 41. She don't have a man. And we could delve into that. But she's not a marriage coach. And she's not a dating coach. That's not her field of expertise. And that is not why they were talking to her. To get her expertise on something that she don't do. Which is be married, have a man, and all of this other type of stuff. You can't really tell me that you're a marriage coach or something like that and not be a wife. So for her field of expertise and why they were even talking to her about those subjects anyways was because she's a psychologist, I do believe. So she got her own issues. But here's the thing. She wasn't wrong. In those particular clips, she wasn't wrong. She didn't say anything wrong in those particular clips. Now, we could certainly sit and poke a couple of different holes for her and delve into some of the things that she said, because Cam ended up like kind of turning the tables and talking to her about why she is her age and she doesn't have, you know what I'm saying, a husband and children to show for and things of that nature. Okay. So we actually could delve into that, but I wasn't talking about that the other day. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about Nick. I wasn't talking about her. And she could be right about that. She could be right about some of the things that she said. Because I found that even though we can poke some holes into her whole situation, I found that the use of that for some people was an escape hatch. We don't have to take what she said or we don't have to listen to anything that she said because the messenger's faulty. So therefore, since the messenger is faulty, I don't have to take the message. That is what hyenas do. When a man come along and he's not perfect and this and that, or a woman for that matter, and they don't want to hear what he got to say or what the woman has to say, they'll start looking into, well, what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Well, do you have this and do you have that? That was the same criticism that hyenas had for Kevin Samuels because he did not have a successful ongoing marriage. He had been divorced, what, twice? So hyenas were coming for Kevin because of that. They were using that as ammo. Well, he can't tell us about relationships because he has not had a successful marriage. So how he gonna tell us about having a successful marriage? But sometimes you can come from, I didn't do it right. So I can give, because there's something valuable in that as well, especially if the person is coming from a genuine space. I didn't do it right. I had failures here. And I'm going to tell you, after learning, after getting older, going through some more life, I can look back on those failures and tell you why they were failures. So really, it become a cautionary tale. Don't repeat some of the things that I did. This is why I know what leadership is now, because I didn't know what it was then, and my marriages failed. And Kevin would have been the first to tell you that. How he messed, what was his contribution to messing the marriages up. Similarly, this Dr. Bryant lady pretty much admits to being a hyena. Okay? She pretty much admits to Cam, you know, I'm pretty much a hyena. I behaved as a hyena. I lived my life as a hyena. I made hyena choices. I had made hyena decisions. So now I have a hyena life. I ain't got no man. I probably waited too late. I want a man, you know, but that's not something that I have. I was low, as in her words, I was low functioning. So I was attracting low functioning men and you know, all the stuff that she said. Basically, she was telling him, I'm a hyena. But if a hyena is going to at least have enough, whatever her motives are, right? Because I don't know what her motives are. But if a hyena is going to come and say, you know what, I was making hyena choices, so I'm in a hyena's position, y'all probably don't want to exactly do what I was doing. She strike me as one of them women who's hyena trying to figure out why she was a hyena. You see what I'm saying? Trying to figure out why she was hyena. I'm a hyena, but why? And I told you they don't actually change. They don't actually change. She's discovered why she's in the boneyard, but that doesn't mean she can come out of the boneyard. Do you understand? I need people to start really like putting together a lot of these dots, connecting these dots. Just because she was trying to figure out why was she a hyena and actually delved into it. Oh, this is what actually makes me that. This is why I'm operating how I'm operating. Just because she discovered and became self-aware like Skynet, okay? Just because she became self-aware that she's a hyena, that doesn't mean that she's able to escape the boneyard, though. One more thing I'm going to address. I'm not all that interested in hearing about Nick Cannon and Cam Newton being rich. And so therefore, his money or their money allowed them to be hyena males, and them being hyena males need to be overlooked because they got money. I don't care about that. Because let's talk about the money thing. Since we're going to be enamored of the fact that these men have money, shouldn't they have been passport bros? Did they or did they not have all the resources necessary to go to every other place in the world if they was interested in being husbands? Then they could have went to any other place in the world and found a wife and married her if they was interested in being husbands. If they really wanted to be husbands, men with lesser means have decided that they are not going to participate in the Western concept of marriage and all that kind of stuff. So they wanted to go to different places, different countries, get women out of different cultures. We are talking about men who have traveled the world and have the means to consistently do that. Because if you got the means to take care of 8 kids in 3 different households, you got the means to go somewhere else. These are millionaires we talking about. We're not talking about no man that's, you know what I'm saying, even got 6 figures. We talking about 7, 8 figures with 7-figure men. If they was interested in being husbands, and that was their goal, and their only problem was, you know what I'm saying, the Western concept of these things is not beneficial. I don't really want to get caught up with the whole child support, with the whole, you know what I'm saying, I don't really want to get caught up like that. But I do want a wife. I do want, you know what I'm saying, children, and I want a home life and all of this other kind of stuff. If they were interested in being husbands, they'd have went somewhere and found a wife. Even if you say you couldn't do that in America, even if you say you couldn't do that in any Western country, the point of me saying that is they don't want to be husbands. They've participated in the foolishness because they part of the foolishness. Only here can you do this foolishness. Huh? For everybody that want a windmill about these men, and you know, this is the way it is in America. These are the men that would be passport bros, correct? I mean, right? Do they or do they not have the means to go elsewhere? There are even other cultures that allow multiple wives. It could have went over there. And nobody would have batted an eyelash for them having 2-3 women. As long as you marry him, you have some kids, you take care of your family, that would have been just fine. They got the means to do it. Everywhere don't just practice monogamy. There's plenty of different cultures that practice polygyny. And don't see absolutely nothing wrong with a man having more than one wife and a bunch of kids. But here in America, you don't have to do polygyny. You don't got to take care of the women. You just got to screw them. Because neither Cam nor Nick want them women. They don't want those women. They are not even looking for wives. They looking for the type of scallywag that'll sell her womb to them. They looking for her. And they found it. You can find them. These women are not hidden. These are not hidden women. Plenty of women, as we can see, lined up. We make a little deal. We make a little agreement. I give you 1-2 kids, however many. We ain't ever gonna get married or nothing like that. You pay the money, and things of that nature. And hey, it is what it is. Selling a womb. This is the woman you want. And that's the woman they got. So I don't want to hear no complaints about they couldn't get better women. They wasn't looking for better women. They was looking for the caliber of woman that would allow herself to be in a situation like this. And they found them. Found plenty of them, matter of fact. Let me show you the woman the baby mama I'm talking about specifically.
Taco Tuesday is a holiday in this house, and my baby's helping me cook. We got the quesadillas, the yellow rice, the pico, the chalupas are made to order. The special tacos are made to order. Everything else here is done. Chopped up the lettuce real thin like I like it. Everything is good to go. I'm just waiting for everybody to get home so they can have a hot meal after practice. And it's up and it's stuck. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Now that, it's like, just gives me purpose. And now with the new baby, now I just feel even more purposeful, especially like when I breastfeed. I feel so full of life. I love it. I love it. Come on, baby. It's going night. Yeah. It's like, it just gives me purpose.
She want to be that man's wife so bad. But it's a high price to pay when you sell your womb, ain't it, baby? Ain't it, beloved? That's a high price. That's a high price to pay when you sell your womb. Huh? It was a higher price than you thought. Because you thought you would be able to start out on a transaction and then end up his wife. But you never will. You never will do it. That man don't want you. And he don't want them 3 other women. The other 2 women. He don't want you. And he don't want them. Because if he saw value in you as a woman and he had a desire to be a husband, he wouldn't even went down this road with none of you, and he would have went and got him a wife. She was on another interview probably about a year or two ago. And she was talking about how she liked to serve and how she liked to submit, and how I don't care if you scrub the ground that man walk on every time he take a step. He not gonna marry you. If Cam Newton ever make up in his mind that he want a wife, it will not be you. It will not be any of them women. It won't be. I don't care. Okay, if you run him a bubble bath every morning and every evening, and you personally scrub each one of his franks and beans until they are shiny and new, he is not gonna marry you, sweetheart. I don't care how much you back it up. I don't care what kind of sexual thing you do. I don't care what kind of meal you cook. I don't care how many of them babies you push out. I don't care how nice and comfortable you try to make that home. I don't care if you swing from the chandelier every day and every night for 40 days and 40 nights. That man is not going to marry you. You hold the same value on day 967 that you did on day 1 when you sold your womb to him. You want to be that man's wife so bad, and he mildly like you. You in love with the very idea of this man, and he kind of sort of like you. And I'm sorry that it is what it is. The only reason that you are in as close a proximity as you are is because you're the one that is gonna scrub the ground every step you take. So you're the most agreeable one, and then you in-house coochie. You cute. You cute. You cute enough. You know that ain't no ugly woman. You keep herself nice and trim. She ain't got big after them kids or nothing like that, because you know that's a death sentence. So she won't gain a pound. She trying so hard. And you will never be Mrs. Newton. That man don't want you. That man do not want you. He kind of like you. You all right. That's the extent of that. That's it. That's it. And I'm gonna need you to either be okay with that and stop groveling after that man, because that makes you even less attractive, because you know he don't want you and he know he don't want you. So it's even less attractive. See, men love that kind of behavior from a woman they love. From a woman they don't hardly like her, she just all right. It get annoying to them. Hear what I say. Men only like that catering, service behavior, submitted behavior from women that they love. For if they get it from a woman they love, it just there'd be no better woman in the world. He to go to the end of the earth for and love her. Listen, but if he don't really like you like that, and you're doing all of that, you become pathetic, and he don't really. You get less attractive. It's less attractive. Because the deal is, he probably, outside of how he behaved in a relationship, he probably a cool dude. I'm talking about Cam. He probably a cool dude. He seemed like you could talk to him and you could, you know what I'm saying? But he just won't act right in a relationship. That's where Jasmine is at. That's why she's stuck. She's stuck. She's stuck. She's stuck on all these qualities that he have that's outside of Cam Newton, the guy with the money, right? She spent time with him, so she like him. She like him. He just got her number. She like him. She like his conversation. She like how he move. In every other way, he's like this pinnacle dude, but he will not commit to her, and she don't understand it. She in the same boat Janae Aiko is in with Big Sean. Everything about that man, she like that. She just like how he just, you know what I'm saying? And it's more than the sex or it's more than that. It's just who he is attractive. The person himself, the person inside. And she just want a hold of him. But he won't. He's slippery as an eel, baby. He's slippery as a can of oil, baby. Huh? He's slippery as a can of oil now. He ain't gonna let you catch him. That's where Jasmine is stuck. Jasmine is stuck on the fact that in every other way, Cam, because he seemed like he cool. Even Dr. Bryant, when she was talking to him in the interview, this was right before she started talking about the dysfunction of the houses. And she was like, I'm pretty sure you a cool dad. Just from being around you, you cool. And I can see that. And Jasmine is up close to it. He's so close, she can smell him, but he far away. He far away. And in the confines of a relationship, he behave. That's where his back feet really come out at. When you start dealing with him in a romantic setting, then it's like, oh, this is where your back feet is at, huh? In every other way, he seemed all right. So you got to leave that alone. So you can't. This is why you can't get caught up. Okay? Because sometimes, just because a person is cool in certain ways, that don't mean that they're gonna be cool in every way. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't deal with people in every facet. You can't deal. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta limit how you deal with people in order to keep it cool. You know how sometimes like you can't deal with people with monetary transactions. Like they cool, but you can't let them borrow no money now. You see what I'm saying? They ain't gonna pay you back. They get real funny when it get to talk about, you know, can I borrow a few dollars? Can I hold this? Da, 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 da. Like you can't do monetary transactions with them, but you can talk to them. You can be on the phone, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. You could kick it, okay? But you cannot We can't borrow money. We can't exchange money. Don't. And Cam seemed like the type of person you could kick it. You cool. Don't try to get into a relationship with this Negro that it's gonna all mess up. It's gonna all mess. You gotta keep him at arm's length. You cannot get into trying to get it be his woman. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. All the dysfunction, okay? All the stuff that you didn't think was a red flag in other areas all converge to being a big red flag in the romantic area, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you've got severe dysfunction in one of your values, that's going to play out in other values. Do you understand what I mean? Because who you are is who you are. Right? Who you are is who you are. So how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you are a big old red flag because you don't communicate well and you don't have good resolution skills and you don't have good problem solving skills, that's not just going to play out in your romances. That's going to play out in all of your other important relationships. You don't resolve problems well. You got a temper. And I'm not saying this is Cam's problem. I'm saying just in general, if you have certain issues, that's going to affect other things as well. Don't communicate well, you're going to have a problem in your work life, in your networking, and you're going to have problems in other places because you don't know how to communicate. You communicate very badly. If you are a person that like to avoid problems because you don't know how to solve them, so any conversation about issues makes you upset, that's going to play out in other areas of your life. And the one thing, this is why we harp on accountability so bad, because the one thing that hyenas hate is accountability. They don't like the mirror to be held to them so that they can look at themselves in that mirror to see, acknowledge, and accept all of the foolishness that they get up to and what's in their minds and how they play it out in their life. And that's one of the realest differences between people who are stuck in the lost value system and stuck in the boneyard and people who are not. Because in order to truly come through as a lion or a lioness, one of the things that you absolutely cannot avoid is the mirror. You cannot avoid the mirror. You have to be able to look into that mirror. And it's not enough to say, well, I got this problem. That's not enough. That is only acknowledgement. That is not accountability. Accountability comes into play when after you acknowledge your faults, flaws, and problems, that you then begin to set a course of work where you can eliminate or minimize all of those problems. That's the only way that you become your best self. That's the only way you really can be on Pride Rock and deserve to be there, because you did your work. You did it. You did it. See, a lot of times these hyenas will fight everything but them demons in their closet. They won't fight them demons. They won't fight that. get mad at everything but them demons that haunt you every day. You will confront everything but the first person that show up when you look in the mirror in the morning. You won't confront that person. You scared of that person. You a whole coward when it comes to that person and everything that person do. You a whole coward. You can't, you a whole yellow belly, tail tucked between your leg coward. When it comes to dealing with the person that show up in that mirror. And lions and lionesses have to do it. We're driven to do it. Because we realize that whatever issues that we have, whatever we went through, however we got, whatever coping mechanisms we got, dysfunctional, you know what I'm saying, things that we involve ourselves in and all of this other type of stuff, and why we feel a need and a drive to address it because it messes up and it hinders our forward progress in life. It hinders your progress. You'll never be able to reach the point where you need to be, whether internally or externally, if you do not deal with your internal issues. This is why the 10 life values is so important and why I won't stop talking about it, because we must. Lions and lionesses are driven. There is an inner fire and a drive to it that as much as we may have wanted to skirt around it, maybe not face it, it was too painful, it was too difficult, it was too whatever, we eventually get to a point where we say, we cannot do this. We cannot do this anymore. If I want to be a better person, if I don't want to deal with these same problems, if I don't want to deal with these same issues, whatever those issues may be, then there is a change that must happen within me first. Not everybody else, me. And that is when we start focusing on our spiritual self. That's when we start focusing on your health. That's when you start focusing on your family. That's when you start focusing on your appearance. That's when you start focusing on your dwelling in your household. What's going on in here? What is going on inside of me? Why come I can't have these more successful or meaningful or valuable relationships? Why I can't get ahead in life? Why I can't get no money? Why am I stuck? Why am I stuck? Not only am I stuck in the same neighborhood, I'm stuck in the same tax bracket, but I'm also stuck in the same mindset. Why am I stuck? And how can I get unstuck? And that is when we begin to do the introspective work, the real work. This is the work hyenas refuse to do because they don't have the mental or intestinal fortitude to do that work. That's why Nick Cannon sat there and laughed and tried to deflect when that woman was talking to him, because she was talking to all that dysfunction. She was talking to that dysfunction. She may be dysfunctional herself, but she was talking to his dysfunction that day. Had him copping pleas and trying to defend it. Cam Newton too. She may have her issues, but she was talking to those issues within them, and they were squirming. Don't like that mirror, because the main thing that the mirror do is you got to look in the mirror and say, I'm wrong. Me. Not everybody else. It ain't everybody else's fault. There's a thin line between the reason and the excuse. Hyenas make sure that their pain and trauma remains the excuse and the crutch that they need to continue on in foolishness. And lions and lionesses turn those excuses into reasons, and then we go past them. Instead of using it as a crutch to continue on in foolishness and brokenness, we say, you know what? No, this, that's an excuse. Let me find out the reason why I do it. And once I find out the reason why I behave and move the way I behave and move, now I got to solve the problem. You got to go back and dig in that pain and figure that out. You got to figure that out. Welcome to the world. I've been through pain too. Huh? I've been through trauma and pain and a bad childhood and poverty and abuse and of physical, psychological, emotional. Huh? You know how long it took me to work through that? You know how long it took me to work through all that? The majority of my adult life was spent fixing all of the foolishness that happened when I was a kid and growing up in the conditions I was growing up in. It took the majority of my adult life. And a lot of that was so painful to have to go back into that and dig through that and figure out you doing this because of this, you doing this because of this, and these things are not good. You hindering yourself, you hurting yourself. Because it's no longer okay to utilize what happened as a child and you 28. When is it gonna be your responsibility? When is your life your responsibility? Huh? Yeah, it may have happened. It may be true. It may not be your fault, but it's certainly your problem. Because somebody got to break the curse. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got a better burden. Might as well be you. Huh? Why come it can't be you? Why you ain't the one to break the burden? Why you ain't the one to break the curse? Why you can't break it? Looking for somebody else to do it for you. Can't nobody do that work for you. You got to do that work on your own. Him going through, I don't care how many women Nick Cannon go through, it's not going to fix him. He cannot fix his pain and trauma in random wounds that he find and pay for. Huh? How's that gonna fix his problem? Whatever he got going on inside of him, he cannot find the answer in a random wound that he buy. Huh? Come here, let me buy your wound. Huh? Come here, let me buy your wound. And Cam Newton neither. I just want more kids to do what with them? And she asked him, well, do you want to be married? No, I just want God to give me more kids. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That's something a chick would say. I don't know. I just want some more. I just love kids. That's not going to fix nothing that's going on with him. Whatever void he trying to fill by filling up the wombs that he's buying as well. That's not gonna fill it. You got an internal void that need to be filled. Don't nothing fill that but the Most High. Let me talk to you for a minute. Don't nothing fill that void but the Most High. Nothing. There's no sex. There's no money. There's no drug. There's no amount of partying or fame or wealth or nothing that can fill that hole. There is a hole inside of every person's soul that only the Most High can fill. Nothing else fills it. It ain't no amount of nothing in this world that could fill that hole. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you have. I don't care who you do it with. Thank you so much, Bakish, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, Juan. Said, break it down, Crimson. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ms. Mia. So you give each subject your undivided attention while other folks may stray off the topic of the subject. You stood on business. Oh, okay. I stood on business. All right. I'll take that. Thank you, Ms. Mia. Thank you, Ezekiel and Ms. Crimson. Your male impersonations is diabolical. Thank you again, Ms. Mia, for your super sticker. Thank you, John T. So Cam's logic is as masculine as cranberry juice, not cranberry juice. Thank you so very much. I appreciate y'all. But it needed to be said. If we gonna tell the truth and shame the devil, if we are going to get down to the roots of why we are the way that we are as a group collectively, then everybody got to take their accountability. If you are contributing to the foolishness of the boneyard, then you contributing to the foolishness of the boneyard. I'm not going to ignore that because it's a man. Because we trying to get to the truth around here. Huh? All of it. Not some of it. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Bernard Gohar says, showing my support. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.